I hope you guys have been having a great festive season with Durga Puja, Navratri, Karwa Chauth and all kind of festivals, Eid. But you know, most of these festivals land up making me eat a lot of fatty food as established earlier, which is essentially a lot of vegetarian food. So now I'm back to my health diet, health food, and this episode we are going to be cooking pork chili. In the beginning of the recipe, as is the case with almost all my recipes, especially involving meats, is that you have to marinate it for a while. I really don't like cooking meats without marination. In this, the marination is not that difficult. It's fairly easy, and it requires a variety of flavors. So basically what I marinated, I took around half a kilo of pork, fresh pork, with bones and a little bit of fat. Fat is very crucial because when it melts, that's what really gives it a really good flavor. So I marinated the fresh pork in a little bit of salt, fresh garlic grated and whole garlic, a little bit of ginger, fresh ginger grated and also fresh ginger juice, some dark soya sauce, some Worcestershire sauce. I also used some amount of honey to balance the taste. I used honey from olive orchards, which I picked up in a fair last year when we could still travel out. Then, of course, I added a little bit of smoked red pepper that I had. Basically, as you see, there is some salty stuff, there is some sweet stuff, and there's also some amount of heat, some amount of spice. Mix it around. I marinated it for a good half an hour, 1 hour. You can do the same. And that's the first step. So while the pork was getting marinated, I prepared the miso plant, which is essentially broadly diced onions, and then the peel separated from each other. And I marinated it in a peri sauce, mild peri sauce, where the most prominent flavors were essentially some lemon with herbs. And so that gives it a really nice flavor. So apart from onions, I had sliced mushrooms, and I had some sliced peppers, mixed peppers, some for the heat, the spicy green chilies, and some just for the color. So you have a mix of, different color peppers. And so this was it. That's the basic miso plant. So after good half an hour, 1 hour of pork being marinated, that's all the time it needs. You basically heat a little oil in the pressure cooker first. Now, pressure cooker is something which is essentially, I think, is unique to India because at least we guys do it, because I'm not very too sure about the safety of eating pork without pressure cooking. So we essentially always pressure cook the pork a little, and then we cook it the way we want to. So for this also, I pressure cook the meat. First, for pressure cooking the pork, you only need very little of oil because the pork itself, like I said, also has fat, and that fat will get released, so you don't need too much oil. You just heat the oil, and then along with the marinade and the pork, you add all of it into the pressure cooker. Before you do the pressure cooking, you fry it a little, and once it's fried and it has released a little bit of its fat, then you add a little water and give it a little boil, and then pressure cook it. You don't need to pressure cook it for too long. Maybe just 1 whistle or 2 whistles is more than enough. Meanwhile, what I did was that I fried the onions. Again, you don't need to over fry it. You just need to fry it to make it a little pink. The crunchier, the better. Once the onions are a little pink, they are nicely sauteed, you add the mushrooms, and again on low fire you saute the mushrooms a bit. Like I said, keep the veggies crunchy. If you keep them too mushy, it won't taste nice. So keep it crunchy. Now you have your pressure cooked pork. So you take that entire pork and all its juices and everything, and you add it into the sauteed onions and mushrooms. And you stir it a little. You have to reduce the juices so that the pork soaks in all the juices and all the flavors of the onion and mushroom, and they all get nicely mixed up. Once the juices have reduced and the pork is nicely fried, the fat's melted, and you can see that it's getting a nice color to it. That's when you need to add the remaining your peppers, your green chilies and your non-spicy peppers and everything, and you mix it a little. Again, like I said, don't overcook it, just stir it. Just stir fry it. Keep the veggies crunchy, and that will taste really nice with a with a nice velvety well-cooked pork. So this recipe of chili pork is essentially my own concoction of recipes, pork chili recipes in Asian, Southeast Asian or Chinese cuisines, and they don't of course use a lot of these veggies that I do. I like to use a little veggies with all the meats as far as possible. They'll probably just make it with onions and green chilies or some red chilies or whatever. You can do that too, but I always like some veggies with my food, so that's what I did. Now that the pork chili is done, I plated it with some hot steaming rice. You can always serve it with some noodles, some garlic noodles or plain noodles, but it goes really well with rice. Any kind of a blend staple is good for it because the chili pork itself has so many flavors, as you've seen: spicy, sweet, salty. So there's so many flavors, so the best is to combine it with the staple, which is really bland and does not have too many your regular Hakka chow and all of that. So just plain noodles or plain steamed rice would go really well with it. So like the head chef said in our last episode, you guys must have seen we have started a new series called Recipes from Friends, and we're really excited about it because it's always so exciting and so adventurous to cook recipes not your own, and especially if you're getting it from your viewers, subscribers or friends, is that much more exciting for us. And of course also use this as a platform to showcase such talented cooks and chefs that are there in amongst all of us. So please do submit your recipes. The submissions are open. All you have to do is submit your recipe to through private message on any one of our social media like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn, and just submit your recipe. Make sure it's unique, it's nice, interesting, and it can be whatever, veg, non-veg, any kind of meats, fish, whatever you want, or vegetarian. And if it gets selected, we will feature it on our one of the videos of the recipes from friends. While submitting, just make sure that you also give us a little bit of background on it so that we get an idea of how you developed this recipe, how you came upon it, and that'll be great. Some pictures are optional, but yeah, if you share a picture of how when you cooked it, how that recipe looks, that also gives us a good guiding light. So that's it from me this week, and fairly simple chili pork, healthy food. Stay safe. I'll see you again soon, and happy festive season. Eat healthy.